Hi, this is Miss Nicole from the Markesan Public Library, and today I am going to teach you all how to juggle for the fun of it. So, the first thing I want to tell you is I hope you have some balls to juggle. Hopefully you were able to make a beanbag out of an old sock, just like we did yesterday, or maybe a new sock out of beans in a sock or rice in a sock. If not, maybe you have tennis balls laying around. These aren't tennis balls, but any kind of ball or round object that isn't going to break, so don't use eggs unless you want to live dangerously. Isn't going to bruise. I mean, you could use apples or oranges, but I don't know if your parents would be happy about that. I'd ask first. But you want something that's about the same size, weighs about the same, you can use to juggle. That's why the bean bags work really nice, and they have a nice weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you some of the very basics. I'm also going to talk up close to the laptop and then move back to show you some of the movements. So I'm going to tip this and show you my hands a little better. Hopefully you can see my hands a little bit better up close. And the first move that you need to learn is just to make a nice arch, to do a little pop with your hands and go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And the idea here is to get good at making your beanbag travel in a nice arch over to the other side. So you want it to arch over. And as much as you can get, a nice smooth arch, just like you're painting a rainbow, the better. So I'm gonna back up. It's super simple. Again, it just takes practice. Juggling is not as hard as you think. I learned from a book called Juggling for the Complete Klutz. You can learn this. I learned back when I was in grade school, upper grade, maybe middle school. And I've been juggling ever since. Just every couple years, I start to feel like, I'm just gonna mess around, and it's fun. And as you can see, I'm not as consistent as I should be. I'm pretty rusty, but you're just getting that arching motion, that scoop with your hand, not that far, but a little pop of the wrist. And you just kind of play. Don't overthink it, but try to get a nice arch. So that's step one. So you practice that for a while. And then the next thing you do is you add another beanbag or another ball. And then you're going to switch them. So the key to this is when the first beanbag gets maybe to the top of the arch or almost to the top, that's when you let go and you throw the second beanbag. So that's called the switch. And I guess I can lower this down here so you can see my hands. This is up close. And when you're practicing this, you want to go both ways. So you get good at starting off with your right and also your left. Yes. And I'll go back again. A little further. Yeah, so this isn't too bad. I'm going kind of low, but if it helps, you can make your balls go higher just to give yourself more time if it's easier. And that's helpful too when you're doing 3 at first. But for me, I have a little better control, I think, when I'm a little lower. So you get really good at that. Practice that for a while too, before you even attempt to do 3 beanbags or juggling balls. So then the third, and all the third is, the only trick to that is the first ball gets up to the top or close to the top, then you throw the second, and then when this one gets close to the top, then you throw the third. And you're gonna wanna kind of balance 2 in one hand when you start with, and I usually pop off with this one first, but you can play around to see which ball is easier for you to launch first. But 2 are going to be in one hand. So I'm not going to do this up close because I think I'm going to mess up. Well, maybe I can try it. So there's no shame. And if these fall without working, you know, it's just practice. So anyways, well, I'm going to need to see my hands. So that's up close. See, dropped. And unfortunately, you couldn't really see the height. So I'll go back and let you see what it looks like. You know, the hand motions there. And just kind of see what I'm doing when I'm first launching the first ball. And then once it's going, you know, you don't have 2 beanbags in your hand ever, really. You're just rotating them. And that's really all there is to juggling. It just takes a little practice. And then once you get really good with this, then you can do crazy tricks. At one point, I was able to throw one in between my leg and then catch everything. Sometimes I still can do it, but sometimes I fail. I could try. The key to that one is throwing the other one up really high so you have more time to throw it through your leg. With these kind of balls, I was able to, at one point, do it upside down where you're bouncing it on the ground. And my other trick was doing 2 in one hand and then the one up. I might be able to do that. That I find hard. Whoop. But anyways, that's another thing you can practice is 2 in one hand. That always looks kind of slick. But the goal is to do 2 in one hand and then do 1 up. Fail. But anyways, like I said, I'm rusty. I'll get better. So just keep practicing. This is the basics of doing it. 3. Usually when you're going to involve some kind of trick, you're going to need some kind of height. Oh, I got it. So anyways, you will do better than me. It's been a few years since I've actually really played. And that's all I got today. The other thing I wanted to show you is yesterday I made a really tiny beanbag and I doubled it up because it was so tiny. And this you could use for hacky sack. I'm terrible at hacky sack. But that's another thing you can do with your beanbags. Well, you're not going to be able to see my feet. Let's see here. That's hacky sack. But the point is to keep it going more than once. So you can make your beanbags big or small. Oh yeah, 2, okay. So another game you can learn. So I hope you practice juggling. Let me know as the week goes on if you've gotten some success. Share that info with me and maybe we can practice together and maybe in a couple weeks we can learn some tricks. So, I wanted to show you that book. You could probably get it through the library. I'm going to share my screen. And so the book that I learned on was this, Juggling for the Complete Klutz. And it came with its own beanbags and it had really nice clear instructions. So anyways, have a good day. You guys take care and happy juggling. I want to stop my screen share. And now I want to say goodbye.